Mitchell, what's going on, brother? Been watching a lot of your guys' videos, great content, and I thought instead of doing something on my own YouTube channel, which is mostly flying, I do a lot of flying videos, private pilot here up in Northwest Ohio, but I got this Bronco, I work for a Ford dealership, and it's really hard for me to justify changing the content of my channel when you already do it so well. So I'm gonna use some of my resources to put together a little video just for you, and if you want to use parts of it, go right ahead. You have my permission, I don't care. But I'm gonna put together a couple little things that I think that your viewers and your reach might benefit. So talk a little bit about towing, a little secret Easter egg about your auto start stop. Another thing I want to talk about real quick is how the trailers hook up to a Bronco with a towing package. So like me and you know, we've got some aftermarket wheels and tires, different offsets, pushes the wheel out, taller. When you're backing up to a trailer, you know, sometimes you've got the pin that is responsible for latching and locking the coupler to the ball will hit that tire. So some things that people might want to be aware about before they do all this stuff to the Bronco, and then they hook up to their camper and then they find out, this isn't going to work so well. They might have to remove the spare tire completely and find another place to put it, especially if they're going to go off-roading for that weekend or whatever trip they're doing. Something else that people might want to do is put a lower drop on their receiver, on their hitch, but that could also cause problems with just how level your trailer is. You don't want to have that thing nose down too much, especially when you put a little bit of a load, because let's be honest, at 3,500 pounds, you don't want to put more than 350 pounds of tongue weight on the Bronco. Plus, if your unit is loaded down and the trailer is loaded down, the suspension squats pretty quickly, and for right reasons too. It's an off-road rig. You don't want to have the stiffest suspension in the world on it. So there's a couple different things that maybe you want to talk about with your viewers as far as why the Bronco only has 3,500 pound towing capacity versus a Ranger that has 7 and an F-150 with a 2.7 liter V6 that has up to 9. So I believe when it comes down to it, the engine can pull it, the transmission can shift it, and the gear ratio on the axles can definitely twist it, but it's the brakes and the suspension that restrict that to that 3,500 pound mark. Oh, another good thing is the wheelbase. This is a little bit shorter than a Ranger and an F-150. That definitely has a lot of towing authority over a trailer when you have a longer tow vehicle. But I'm gonna hop out and turn some cameras on quick, and then show you just what I'm talking about with this whole hooking up to a trailer with a 35-inch spare with a +1 offset. Oh, one other thing while we're talking about this is that I cannot see, here, I'll just take the camera out real quick here for you. I can't see where the ball is at. So I'm gonna guess right about here is where the center is, and just get as close as I can underneath of it. Plus, you can always use your mirrors and figure out, you know, if you're square with your trailer from side to side as well. But see if I can't get this on the first shot. All right. Take this out again. All right, so what I want to talk about here real quick is, oh, look at that, I got almost perfect. So what people are gonna run into, even with a 5-inch drop receiver, is that, you know, they're gonna have this coupler latch problem here. There's different types of couplers, but I would probably argue that the most common is gonna be one with a design similar to this, where something's on the top. I've seen some where there's like actual jaws that open up and you can come straight in on the ball, but that's not as common as something that's on top like this. So when you got a guy or girl backing up to their jet skis, their camper, or whatever, anyway, they're gonna run into that little latch thing. So depending, I got this thing like right on it, right? It's like just barely touching, maybe it is, but what if that person's got that thing a ½ inch higher or an inch higher? You know, it's gonna be a big problem. Also, the fact that you can't really see it can also be a little bit of an issue. But right here, right now, I can get this thing on here, and I don't want to go any lower than a 5-inch drop anyway, because I've already hooked this up once. I've moved stuff to the dealership with it, Anything lower than that 5-inch drop, then I'm gonna have a really on-level trailer. So earlier you heard me talking a little bit about the little Easter egg about the auto start stop switch. When you come to a stop anywhere, if the vehicle is at operating temperature, you don't have a high demand of electronics or AC running, that engine is going to shut off. Maybe it's the government coming down on manufacturers trying to burn the least amount of fuel. I mean, let's think about it. 2 seconds of every single vehicle on the planet shutting off at the exact same time is probably a lot of fuel. I mean, it doesn't look that much to the consumer in their own little world right here, but it probably makes a big difference. But I don't want to sound like I don't care about the environment. I don't want to sound like I don't care. I care about my starter and my pocket with the money that's in it when I have to get the thing replaced after it keeps on shutting off and starting unnecessarily. So enough rant about that. But if anybody's interested, and if you want to include this with any video or any content, if your Bronco, or actually any Ford for that matter, has a tow package with the 4-pin or a 7-pin, here is the solution to not have to go into ForeScan and delete it out of the programming or try to do some as-built data manipulation. I'm gonna go grab it right now. It cost me, I think, $5 or $6 at Rural King of all places. So be right back. All right, I'm back. The answer I'm referring to is this thing right here. This is a simple little LED trailer tow or trailer pin tester. All right. The moment you plug this little guy into the back of your Bronco or your Ford, it is going to believe and think that there's a trailer behind it. One of the features that Ford does with the auto start stop is it will remove that functionality automatically without you having to touch that button. Because like you or me, I know I can probably get anybody with this. You get in your vehicle, you start it up, and you don't even remember to hit the button, and the very first stop sign you get to when your car's up and running is it shuts it off. You're like, ah, dang it. So you hit the damn button and off you go. You don't have to hit the button anymore. As soon as you start the vehicle and this is detected, you're already set to go. Other cool thing that I did some research on is, will this change any of the dynamics or the shift points or throttle response in the vehicle? No, the Bronco doesn't even have a tow haul mode. So all it knows right now is that there's a trailer back there. I'm gonna give it some wiring or some lighting signals, and that's it. On my Expedition, same thing. You plug it in, it doesn't change the shift points or the behavior of the vehicle unless you manually select it into tow haul mode. So when you plug these things in and you don't have a trailer, you don't have to worry about the vehicle behaving any differently. Now, the only thing that you might see that's non-beneficial, and if you're really tech savvy and you have a Ford, is to go into your trailer profiles and select a dummy trailer when you use these, because it will log an odometer for that thing. So if you got multiple trailers but only got one profile, well, guess what? And you're using that odometer for records for like bearing setting or any type of servicing you do for your trailer, make a dummy profile for this. Like I said, I think I paid $5 or $6 for it in the boat section of a Rural King, which is just like your farmer's Walmart essentially. So the only downside is if you don't have a trailer tow package, there's not really any hope to be able to use this unless you have one installed, and hopefully it's routed through the computer of the vehicle to detect this, or else that functionality will not work. All right, next thing, trailering the Bronco. When you went to the Bronco Super Celebration West, I thought that's great. You drove it out there. You got to see some real world miles per gallons on the 37s. Awesome content. But there's also, you kind of gave up some other features or information that would have been useful as well. And there's no problem with that at all. Not saying that's a bad thing. I was just like, well, if he had trailered it, maybe there's some things we would find out. Okay, he's got different tires. It's a lot bigger. What type of trailer will a Bronco fit on, and how much gear can you take with you? Because let's remember, you might be the type of person who's got your rig already set up. You want to show up to the trail or to the wherever you're going, and you don't want to mess with anything. You just want to pull it off the trailer and go hit the trails, and then you got another rig or another vehicle that you can go get lunch in, go get dinner, go out, or whatever you want to do. It'd be interesting to know just what type of trailer do you need to put your Bronco on, and will you need to make any adjustments? Like, let's say, do you have to load it on with the stock tires and wheels and then store your bigger offsets and larger tire combinations on the back or in the front or in the back of the tow rig, right? I got an Expedition, so there's really not that much room for me to put in the back of the vehicle as, say, maybe your F-150 or your Super Duty or anything else that you're pulling truck wise. So I've got an 18-foot utility trailer rated for 10,000 pounds. Got two 5K axles underneath of it, and it's pulled skid steers and tractors and all kinds of stuff. But I measured from sidewall to sidewall, outer diameter or outer dimensions of the sidewalk. That's what's going to rub my wheel wells, right? It's 81 inches. And I've got 82.5 between them on my trailer, so it's going to be really tight. But we're going to get it on there. We're going to look at the how far forward I can get the Bronco without over exceeding the tongue weight of the Expedition, while also still be able to close the ramps, because my particular trailer has big giant monster ramps on the back that kind of fold up and lock into place. They don't have removable stowable ramps, so that might be a benefit for the people who have those types of trailers. But this one right here, I got to still be able to pull those up and lock them in storage or travel position. Well, there you got it. She's pretty tight right there. Good thing is that I'm not gonna have to worry about my wheels getting boogered up too bad. Just the sidewalls might get a little rub. But that's about it. Let's go straight forward with it and it should be good. All right, so I've got the 18-foot trailer. I've got a little bit of room up in the front still, so that way I can move it. I can add a little bit more, maybe about a foot more of adjustment forward. But I want to talk about the back real quick, because that's where these ramps got to come up. So when I load up one of these ramps real fast, looks like an 18-foot trailer is going to have plenty of options for being able to position your Bronco a little bit better and get that tongue weight off your tow vehicle, or at least get it dialed in just right. So this Expedition's feeling it right now. If I wanted to, I probably could slide the Bronco back a little bit, maybe about another 1.5 feet or so. I've also got plenty of anchoring points, either in the floor of the trailer as well as on the Badlands, which has 2 tow hooks on the back and 2 in the front. Also, like I said, it was tight getting on here. I should have measured from down here and not up here from side to side, because you do have a little bit of a push out down there. So that 1.5 inches of clearance, which is basically 3/4 of an inch on either side, was definitely used up on the bulge of the tires. I didn't actually consider that coming on here, but you still got some pretty good amount of room underneath the rig too, to store some things, some bags, some totes, maybe the factory wheels and tires, a spare, whatever you got going on. There's plenty of room underneath of it still that you can park some stuff. But yeah, pretty interesting to know that an 18-foot trailer and a 4-door Bronco with fuel. Okay, the other thing too, the wheels, these are a +1 offset with 35 by 12.5 R17s. So this is actually the same wheel that you showcased with Bronco Nation on the video titled Will 37s Fit? So I went with a +1. So keep in mind too, guys, if you have a -12 or anything further, these things are gonna go a little bit farther away from the Bronco, from the vehicle itself. So the factory comes with +55, a very flush-faced wheel where the entire offset, the wheel spacing is actually pushed into the vehicle. That's positive offset. Negative offset to no offset is gonna be further away, and the more negative you get, the further it's gonna go out. So keep that in mind. Appreciate you, appreciate everything that you're doing for the Bronco community, and I follow all your stuff and a big fan. Just, I don't really have much of a social media presence. All I do is the subject matter expert stuff at my dealership. Most of my videos are all flying related, but I thought when I get motivated and use some of my resources, put something together and share it with you. And if you decide to move forward with it, great. If not, all I can do is try. So I appreciate you, man. Thanks. Have a good day and see you on the next one.